And good evening and welcome to Season 2 of the EKU Alumni Spotlight Series. My name is Dan McBride. I'm the Associate Vice President for Development and Alumni Engagement at EKU. And I will once again this season be your host as we talk to some of the most interesting alumni we have from around the country doing interesting things out in the world. We've got another great season of alumni guests lined up for you, and we will be telling you about those as we go through the series and through the programming. But I do want to let you know there's one change this year to our Alumni Spotlight series. Last year at this time when we began the series, we were only doing virtual events. And I'm very happy to say that we have had the return of in-person events for our roster this year. And so we have a mixture of in-person and virtual events. So we won't be doing 2 Alumni Spotlight series each month as we did last year. We'll only be doing 1. And I'll go ahead and let you know now our next Alumni Spotlight series will be coming up the first week of October, and we have a lot of other things before then. So first, let's talk about the in-person events that are coming up. Our first in-person event of the year happened back in July when we hosted our annual trivia night at the Elmwood Estate, had over 300 people in attendance and a great night, a beautiful night from the weatherman, made it a much more perfect night for us, a lot of fun. That was our first in-person event in over a year. We will continue that this weekend when we go to the University of Louisville and play football, and we will do our annual tailgate party before the game. This will take place this Saturday in Louisville up near Cardinal Stadium. The tailgate will be from 4 to 7 p.m. or 4 to 6:30, so you can have time to get up and get into the stadium. You can find out more information about that on the alumni website, but if you haven't signed up yet, we have close to 150 people who have already signed up going. And we'll have the band there, the cheerleaders, the dance team, a whole lot of fun. So be sure to come and join us. That's this weekend at Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, or Papa John's Stadium, or whatever they call it now. I'm not even sure what they call it now. And then our next live event, in-person event, will be Keeneland. And that is actually not the next as far as the date goes, but it's our next as far as signups go, because if you have been to Keeneland before, you know those tickets go fast. And so even though our day at the races won't happen until October 13th, the signups are now underway. And if you want to get seats for our day at Keeneland, you need to go ahead and do that now because those tickets go fast. Keeneland is doing some things to limit the attendance this year in some of their enclosed spaces. So we're not going to be in the Lexington room as we usually are this year because of social distancing. They've had to spread people out a little bit more. We will be in the Phoenix room this year for our day at the races, and we will be overlooking the beautiful paddock. That will be on Wednesday, October 13th, and we do have a little bit less number of tickets this year than we normally have, so make sure you sign up if you'd like to join us at Keeneland this year. And then, of course, we want to remind you that homecoming is coming up the first weekend in October 1st and 2nd. We have a wide range of homecoming activities that are scheduled, our signature events, the parade, a lot of other things that are going on. You can get the entire schedule at homecoming.eku.edu. And if you haven't checked that out recently, you might want to go check it out because we are adding new events all the time. We've added a couple of events this week, and we'll be adding a few more as the week goes on. So be sure to go and check out the signature events. And we hope that you can join us when we welcome folks back to campus. After not being able to do an in-person homecoming last year, we're all excited about the opportunity to meet in person this year, October 1st and 2nd. Now, we will continue to do virtual events. You remember the Colonel's Kitchen, where we partner with our friends down in Applied Human Sciences here on the EKU campus. We will be doing the same thing again. Our first Colonel's Kitchen of the fall will take place on Thursday, September 28th. And we will be live with Dr. Dana Bush again, and Chef Sang will be in the kitchen. And we have some more great things we're going to be cooking up for you this year. And we'll be doing a Colonel's Kitchen episode each month during the school year as well. Our next spotlight comes up in October. Our guest that night will be Dexter Santos. Dexter currently serves as the vice president of the NFL Players Association, and he very well may be the only EKU alum who has worked in all 3 of the major sports. He worked for the Atlanta Braves in Major League Baseball for a while. He worked for the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA, and now he's working with the NFL Players Association. Hear about his life and career when he joins us on our October edition of the EKU Spotlight Series, Alumni Spotlight Series. And then in November, we will welcome to the show Barbara Kent, who is an EKU alum, and she also heads up the Veterans Program on the EKU campus. And Barbara will be talking to us about the special things that they'll be doing around Veterans Day on campus as we salute our veterans. And of course, EKU has that long history and many accolades for the programs we provide to veterans on our campus. But tonight, we are kicking the year off just the way we kicked off the Alumni Spotlight series last year. Our very first episode featured our guest tonight, and we are very happy to welcome him back tonight for our second season. He is a two-time EKU alum, the 14th president of Eastern Kentucky University, only the third alum to hold the office of president, and the first from our service region. We are very pleased to welcome Dr. David McFaddin back to the Alumni Spotlight show tonight. Dr. McFaddin, good evening.
Good evening, Dan. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And again, can't thank you enough for helping us kick the season off last year and then again this year. I think it's a great way to start our series by kind of getting all of our alums a campus update and letting them know what's going on down here.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's been a great start to the semester. And while we're here virtually, there's a lot of folks here with us face to face. And so the Campus Beautiful is alive with a lot of activity.
And that's got to be one of the great things. I know it was for me personally, but to have students back on campus and feel the life that they bring to campus, it's been a big difference this year.
Yeah, I think that, last year we had students here on campus, about 3,000 living in the residence halls, but it just didn't feel normal. And so I think that this year we're much more back to what would be a normal kind of welcome back. We had the Big E welcome, the freshmen move in. It's really been a good start to the semester. The faculty and staff have been amazing. It feels like home again. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Big E welcome, and that was a lot of fun. The faculty and staff line by Turner Gate and have the freshman class walk through. And I tell you, it looked like a huge freshman class coming through there this year.
Yeah, we were excited. Right at 2,600 freshmen, the first time in 6 years that the freshman class was bigger than the class before, and really back to a number where we're able to do the E in reverse format there as we were featuring the new kind of centerpiece on the field. So it was exciting, and I will be honest, it was warm that day, and they just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. So it was great. So
you mentioned the freshman class is really big. I feel like everybody's been worried about enrollment, and certainly COVID has had an impact on that. But I feel like our numbers this year were pretty solid.
Yeah, we're strong this year. Freshman class is up. New students are up about 10% year over year. That's including new freshmen, new transfers. We're up in our underrepresented minority population. We're up in service region about 15%. And we're up in Kentucky about 10%. So all the indicators are this is the beginning of a growth cycle for us as an institution. So, we're really excited about, what the future holds.
Now, obviously, we are excited to be back to a little bit of normalcy, but obviously COVID is still prevalent in our society, and measures are still being taken on campus.
They are. We do have a mask mandate indoors here on campus. So if you're indoors, we're asking folks to mask. We're working through an educational and encouragement campaign for vaccinations. That's been, kind of a slow process as we've tried to really educate our campus community about the value of those vaccinations as students are coming from all over the state and really all over kind of this part of the country to get them here and to try to keep everybody safe. We've really been pushing hard on those vaccination opportunities. But I will say the biggest draw for that has been that designated parking spot that we're offering to the residential students. If you're living outside of Burnham, if you can get one of those spots on University Drive, that is premium real estate. So.
Yeah, and for some of our folks who are watching who may not realize it, there's an incentive program going on for those who have been vaccinated. You could enter for opportunity to win lots of different prizes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been good. We've had pop-up clinics every week. We'll have one for the first home football game against Indiana State. So really hoping to continue to provide those opportunities for students. We do have vaccines here on campus at Student Health Services, and those are available every day as we continue to encourage students to get vaccinated. So.
I know also we're trying to, as you said, make it as much of a normal school year as we can. And one of the things that is new this year is the E3 program. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we call it the exceptional Eastern experience. I think we all talk about our own EKU experiences, and goodness, so many of us alums can tell you a lot of stories about what it was like back in the 80s and 90s here at EKU. But I think that, over the last 20 years or so, that has not been a big part of our identity. And so we're being very intentional this year and going forward about trying to differentiate our experience here on campus. And that's not just what happens in the classroom. We know that we got world-class faculty who have a 17-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. who really care about our students being work ready, being ready to go out and have amazing careers when they leave here with real good work experience when they leave. What we don't often talk about is this notion of this being a place where you make memories, where you really build those friendships and those connections that last a lifetime. And when we hear alums come back at homecoming, they all have great stories to tell about the Ravine, about Powell Corner, about you name it, the things that really transcend their experience. But in this age of social media and COVID, it's created a pretty, reclusive student body. And so we're trying to give them a reason to get out and build those memories.
So talk about some of the things that will happen with the Eastern experience. I know there's concerts and all kinds of different pieces that'll be a part of that.
Well, I got to make sure I don't get in trouble here because I do have information that has not yet gone public. So, I get in trouble from the committee if I start breaking news here with the alumni. But yeah, we've got some amazing acts, comedians, we've got musicians. We've got some post-athletic events that are scheduled, kind of post-game activities. We're doing a lot of things to kind of program campus throughout the week. So our hope is that on any random Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, there's something going on here on campus that will engage our students and give them something to do rather than say, hey, maybe I should go home.
Another thing that is new and has gotten a lot of buzz from campus and also off campus, frankly, is the Book Smart program. And it seems like it's been a huge success.
Yeah, Book Smart is, a lot of people are like, hey, why are you doing this and what is it? It is a very strategic book scholarship program for our students, for every student. And for those who are honor students who are watching tonight or those who are athletes, they know what a book scholarship can do. But for our general student population, as we talked to students and understood what were the hurdles to an affordable college education, what were the hurdles to really being successful in the classroom materials were a big issue. And as we looked at the average cost being $1,200 a year for those textbooks and those materials, we made a commitment to our students to say, we're gonna eliminate that cost for you. You're going to start day one with everything you need to be successful in the classroom. And it doesn't matter whether you're first gen. It doesn't matter if you're a legacy. It doesn't matter if you're low income. It doesn't matter if you come from a wealthy family. Everybody's going to have the materials they need on day one to be successful. And so this was not just about student recruitment. This is about student retention. It's about students being successful when they're here, staying here and finishing a degree. And that's a great picture. Our friends at Barnes & Noble have been great partners in this work. And so we feel like this is a differentiator for us. We're the only school in Kentucky that's doing this and one of just a handful in the nation who have committed to this kind of opportunity for our students.
So this is a program that is not, some people, I think, some of the alums that have talked to me said, so is this just for a year? This is a program that's going to continue, right?
Now, this is part of our brand. When we say School of Opportunity, I think that our actions have to speak to that. And this is School of Opportunity. This is a differentiator for us, and it's something that we're invested in and that makes us say that we're committed to your success.
Absolutely. Now, we've talked about a lot of the things that have happened over the last year. One of the things that happened last year was an outstanding fundraising year for the university, a record year in fundraising, which you would think wouldn't happen during a COVID period, but we had a great year.
Well, listen, I mean, the team and development and alumni engagement really kind of threw out their feet in this opportunity and really connected with folks in ways that we hadn't connected before. And I think that it resonated with our donors, with our faculty and staff. We saw, we doubled our faculty and staff giving year over year. We set a goal of 1,000 donors. We eclipsed that. It was almost 2,000 donors. We doubled up on our goal. And right at $10 million raised in the last year. And so I think that is something to be really proud of. Bettina Gardner has done an amazing job as our Vice President for Development, an amazing team of development officers. And that team have committed themselves to excellence, even when we've been thrown the curveball of not being able to see donors face to face for what seems like forever now. So.
And one of the highlights of the giving year was obviously Giving Day. And this was really the second time we didn't do it last year or didn't do a full Giving Day. It was only the second time we were able to do it. And so we thought the first one was really great, but this one even went beyond that.
Yeah, the engagement was amazing. I was kind of there in the war room until 11:30 or 12 o'clock that night, and we were trying our best to find somebody in Montana or Nebraska. Or I don't know where it was, but we were desperately trying to find that person to fill in the 50 states plus Puerto Rico. But just an exciting environment. But to see so many of our alums give to things that they care so deeply about. Lots of challenges unlocked for all the colleges, for a lot of our student organizations. Our Greek community really stepped up in a major way. To the alumni team, there's Steve and Grant, and I see Bettina in the background over there. That was a fun day. And I think that, when you think about the opportunity to hear people tell those stories and share those stories, it's a wonderful opportunity kind of mid-year to do that. And so we're excited about what Giving Day did from an engagement standpoint. Yes, the fundraising is important to be able to support our scholarship funds and to support our students. But the engagement with our alums, I think, speaks even more, that people are excited to talk about EKU, to reminisce about EKU, and to re-engage with each other in a way that's going to make a big difference. And, for next year, circle on the calendar, April 13th, Wednesday, April 13th, right before tax day. We're going to have Giving Day again. And, I'm scared to think about what the goals are, Dan, because they've got to be big, because I know we can deliver.
Well, that's the great thing about Giving Day is each year it seems to get bigger and better, and more of our friends and alums hear about it, and donors, and they want to be a part of it. And another thing that happened on Giving Day this year that made it even more special for us was the commitment that you and your wife made in the Pay It Forward. If you could kind of just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, obviously both of us are alums of the institution. We benefited from scholarships when we came here. She was a Regents Scholar. I was a President's Scholar. I think about Shelley Park, who helped me put together the package that got me through college as a first generation college student. And as we kind of thought about, what's the thing we want to do to kind of leave a mark on giving back to the institution, we decided to make a pledge to pay back the value of our scholarships so that we could pay back those scholarships so other students could benefit from it. And, for me, the big focus in fundraising is always going to be on those scholarship dollars, those dollars that meet that unmet need for the students out there. And so we're encouraging all of our fellow alums who benefited from a scholarship, no matter how big or how small, whether you pay it all back or just a portion, to give back to the scholarship fund so that we can try to support every student that we possibly can. And with 2,600 new freshmen, we need a lot of dollars to support them and all the things that they need. There's two big programs. The Colonel's Covered program was big on Giving Day, but also our SAFE program, our Student Assistance Fund for Eastern. We've got students who have a lot of needs, and sometimes we don't think about food insecurity and housing insecurity. And those are things that are real for our students, and we've got to make sure that we're there to deliver on that. And COVID has really kind of put a sharp point on how much impact that has on some of our most vulnerable students.
Well, and obviously it goes right along with the School of Opportunity. Anytime we can build the scholarships and build the amount of scholarships we can offer, then that adds to opportunities for more of our students. Let's turn a little bit now and talk about athletics. We had the kickoff of the football season this past weekend. We're going to Louisville for a big tailgate this weekend, and then our first home game a couple of weeks away against Indiana State, and it's a whole new season now.
Well, we're 1-0, so it's great to get that first win behind us as a member of the ASUN. It was a competitive game down at Western Carolina. They were great hosts. It was an exciting environment. They've got a great band. They've got great showing of their student section. So it was a hostile environment for us to kind of kick off the season, but a great win. Looking forward to obviously starting competition in all sports. We're in season for volleyball, we're in season for soccer, we're in season for golf, men's and women's golf. And so we'll see cross country get fired up here pretty soon. So lots of activity going on. Men's basketball preseason number 1. Coach Hamilton obviously has reloaded as he indicated, and so the ASUN schools have voted us a preseason number 1. Though, so we're really excited about getting to go out and see new competition, but more importantly to connect with the 100,000 alumni who live in the footprint that is squarely there in the ASUN.
Absolutely. And also the opportunity this season with football season, because it's upon us right now, 6 home games this year. So certainly a lot of opportunities for our alums to come back, and there's going to be a lot of new and exciting things happening this year at home football games.
Absolutely. Our athletic director, Matt Roan, did a great job. He's a shrewd negotiator to get us 6 home games in that season. And so we're excited. Homecoming's a little bit early this year, so it could be a little warm, but we're really excited. We've got some new things featured for kind of pregame experiences for those who haven't been back for a while. So we'll have some great things there from an entertainment standpoint. We'll have the chance to host some folks. We're trying to move the President's Tailgate down into kind of the AC lot experience. So we're looking forward to a great year.
Ought to be a lot of fun. And again, the first home game of the season coming up on the 18th against Indiana State, and we'll be in Louisville this weekend for all of our alums in that area. Come out and tailgate with us, and then come out and watch the Colonels play the Cards in football. Before we open it up, and I do want to let some of our viewers get an opportunity to ask some questions, but before we do that, as we start a new year, and as you think about the many things we've been through in the past year, and you look ahead for this year, do you have any goals or any things that you would like to accomplish this coming year?
Yeah, I think for us, we're in the throes of the strategic planning process, and like any new president, I kind of joke new. I'm a year into this full-time gig, a year and a half into it. Starting as the interim in January of 2020. It feels like that, Groundhog Day in some ways. We felt like COVID was going to be behind us, and COVID was going to be behind us. But during all that time, I feel like that we really had a chance to focus internally and say, what are our strengths? Where are the areas where we're the best version of ourselves? And so, really right now we're focused on some innovative ideas from an academic programming standpoint, trying to flatten the organization, provide more opportunities for students to have unique experiences inside the classroom and outside the classroom. Looking at, trying to reward those transformative experiences and really invest in our people and invest in the fact that we want the very best and brightest to come here to get an education, but we want to make sure we've got the very best and brightest here who are a part of the EKU family on a day-to-day basis. And so for me, I think that, trying to make sure that we're just lifting each other up during, some pretty challenging times. I will tell you that, one of the biggest challenges we're facing as a society today is mental health. And, that has been something that we've invested a lot of resources in, and we've got an amazing team here on campus who are committed to our student body and committed to our faculty and our staff. And, right now is the time for us to pull together as a community and really be the best version of ourselves. We're excited to host the SOAR Summit down in Corbin this year. EKU is a primary sponsor. And so, being a part of kind of the rebuilding of that East Kentucky region, as we think about the economic kind of rebirth of that region, I'm very hopeful to see our institution play a key role in that process as well. So lots of exciting stuff going on this year, and just excited to see folks back on campus. So come on back to the campus. Beautiful.
Well, and one thing about that I meant to mention this earlier, but in the last few years when people have come back to campus, they have seen a lot of construction. And I'm happy to say that as soon as the pedway's finished, construction for the most part will be done on campus and they can see the finished product.
For now, Dan, for now. So
yes, well,
there's always an opportunity. No, we are wrapping up that revitalization project. Campus looks amazing. It's as good as it's looked in a long time, and really excited to see a lot of these projects come to fruition. Seeing students down in the Powell Plaza area, the new rec center, the Powell building renovation for those who haven't been in Powell in a long time. When you come and see it, you're not going to recognize it. You go up to the third floor and expect to see the cafeteria, and wow, look at these amazing spaces that our students have to use for student groups, to use for instruction. It's really amazing. So.
Yeah, and the bookstore now in the basement of Powell. I know a lot of alums come back to campus and they'll automatically go look for the bookstore where it's always been. And I think they'll like what they see when they go down into the new bookstore. Bigger, roomier, and lots of options.
And free books, Dan. Free books.
Free books, yeah. Speaking of free books, let's go to some questions from our viewers. Dale Morgan has a question in regards to the free book program. What is the strategic plans in terms of sustainability for that program? Is it something that we'll be able to maintain?
Yeah, I think that, it becomes a part of our identity. With every institution, we're investing millions of dollars every year in scholarships for our students. When we think about what are the things that are going to make the biggest impact? I do believe that this is sustainable for our students. It's something that our faculty are really excited about, because they can now they don't have to be so. Our faculty were getting really creative in making sure that they tried to control costs for students, but they may not have been putting the very best instructional materials in front of our students in doing that. And so our adoption of textbooks were at an all-time high this year. So faculty are embracing it, students are embracing it, and we're going to make that work. I think that one way we can continue to make that work is to see our donors step up and support this initiative. If you believe that this is something that is impactful, and we've heard from a lot of donors, we've heard from a lot of alums, we've heard from a lot of parents, we've heard from a lot of students that this is an amazing thing for them, that this is life-changing. And in fact, when I had a nursing student tell me, I wasn't sure if I could continue to be a nursing student because I wasn't sure I could continue to afford the books for this particular degree, that's powerful to say, hey, you chase your dreams and we're going to invest in you. And that's really what this is about. So absolutely, it's sustainable. We're committed to it. This is not a one-off. It's a part of who we are as the School of Opportunity.
Well, and if there's anything we need right now, it's more nurses. So absolutely, if that helps. Next question comes to us from Amy Jo Gable. She wants to know, how are the regional campuses being impacted by COVID-19? And are there more students that are staying close to home rather than coming to the main campus?
It's hard to read. Online education is continuing to grow nationwide. We continue to see growth in our eCampus portfolio, but we're also seeing growth in our new freshman enrollment. And so I think it's a little bit of both. I think for us, every institution goes through cycles. As I said, this freshman class is bigger than the freshman class that came before it for the first time in 6 years. And so I think that kind of speaks to the cycles that we're in. But our enrollment management team, our admissions team really hustled this year. They got very creative. They were using a lot of different platforms to connect with students. We were an innovator. We were innovating with Booksmart. We were innovating with how long we kept our merit scholarship model open. We were innovating with how we were doing advising and supporting students with priority registration for freshmen. And so there was a lot of those things that were there that I think differentiated us in the marketplace. And we're going to continue to do that. I think that high touch, high impact experience is what really Eastern's all about.
Next question comes to us from Bob Sullivan. He wants to know if there's anything new on Greek housing.
We continue to have conversations about, what is the right fit for us. And candidly, Amy Jo's on here with us. I've consulted with her several times, as she's a national leader in this space. I don't know that there's anything new in that space, but we continue to have conversations with those Greek, organizations here on campus. We continue to have conversations with their alums. We continue to look at the national trends and try to figure out what works for us. I know this, looking at Giving Day and seeing the affinity that our Greek organizations have to EKU, it is powerful. And so when we look at our fraternities and our sororities and look at, how we connect the Eastern experience to that community that you have within the institution that is affiliation with fraternity or sorority, it's powerful. And so trying to figure out how that fits for us is key. But if I'm being really honest, the dues structure across the nation can be a bit of a challenge when we think about the cost of college and the cost of that association. I think that this has got to be a partnership between the institutions and between the Greek organizations to make this work and figure out what's the future of Greek housing and really Greek experience on a college campus. But we're really proud of our students who are in those organizations, really proud of those sponsors and the advisors who do so much work for them. And we continue to evaluate what is the right fit for us. If folks have got suggestions, I'm open to listening, but it's got to be something that our students will embrace. That's the key.
Well, while we're talking a little bit about Greeks on campus, let's talk about the Divine Nine Plaza, which I know is something that we've been working on for a while, and we're excited because homecoming weekend, we are going to have dedication for that.
Yeah, really excited about seeing that project come to fruition. We had a groundbreaking last year, had a great turnout for that event. We'll kind of have the ribbon cutting this fall, having a chance to recognize all 9 of those organizations. in a way that gives them a priority space on campus. You can see the rendering there, right there in kind of the southern corner of Karloftis Garden. It's going to be really impactful, and we're super excited to see this come to fruition. Dr. Danny Moore has kind of been running shepherd on this, our Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer and Vice President for Student Life for the better part of the last year, and excited to see this, and it's going to be a signature piece to the EKU experience.
We have another question. David Miller wants to know if the revitalization of campus, is EKU looking to continue that trend with some of the older buildings on campus?
Well, we're always looking for opportunities to invest in those spaces. Our institution, I've had the chance, over the last decade or so to travel around and see a lot of universities. And we are blessed to have one of, I would argue, one of the most beautiful, most accessible, most connected campuses that I've seen anywhere. And so some of the older buildings on campus definitely need a little TLC. And so we continue to look at, how we can, continue to invest in those in strategic ways. The hard part is it can be disruptive. Sometimes some of those major renovations, as we saw with the Powell building being closed for nearly 2 years, it displaces folks. And so we've just got to be very thoughtful about how that fits. And we've also got to look at some trends on campus as we look at, how is instruction, evolving, what are students looking for in those spaces, and then what's the functional use of the space going forward. We're always thinking about that. But as I said, I think there's always an opportunity right around the corner to really transform campus, but really hold on to those things that make us unique.
You've faced a lot of obstacles, I guess is the easiest way to say it, since you became president of this university. As you look back on it now, are you still excited, still got that same enthusiasm as you did when you?
I think the honeymoon's still going, I hope, Dan. So, we're using the first 8 team until COVID's over. It's not really started yet, right? So, no, it's really exciting. I mean, we've got a great team of folks, at the president's cabinet. We've got so many amazing ambassadors across this campus who go out and advocate for EKU every day. It's a privilege to be here. I get excited. I have some hobbies. Our new women's basketball coach, Coach Greg Todd, and I play tennis about 3 or 4 days a week. I think we're going to have an invitational. I looked at the homecoming 5K and said it's the 44th running of the 5K, and I thought me and the homecoming 5K are the same age. So maybe that's an indication I should get out and see what my 5K time would be. But I'll maybe stick to that. But no, it's been fun. It's been, the curious thing, people are like, this must have been really difficult. And no doubt there have been some difficult decisions that have had to be made, but it's easy to make those decisions when kind of where your heart is. You know what your uncompromisables are. You know what your strengths are as an institution. And when you've got people surrounding you who are committed to seeing it through. And so our faculty and staff have really been amazing throughout this process, always willing to step up, always willing to go the extra mile, and, always willing to give that extra little bit to make sure that we serve every student like they're the only student here at EKU.
As you look back on your first year and a half or whatever in the office, what would you say? Obviously, COVID has been a big challenge, but are there other challenges that maybe you weren't expecting or you didn't know about that have kind of surprised you? Or
so, I'm a pretty extroverted person. I get really energized by being around people and kind of going from this thing to that thing and really trying to move the agenda along. And so, the Zoom meetings would drag on for forever and ever. And, keeping everyone motivated and kind of engaged in that environment where, we were meeting in a virtual setting and nobody was coming to campus. It was it was lonely to sit in the office and, sometimes for the car to be the only car in the parking lot at times when we were kind of going through some of that process. So I think, the isolation, despite the fact we've got these wonderful technologies, and we found new ways to connect with, to connect with each other, connect with alums. And this is a great example. I think that this grew out of the necessity to have, with COVID. And so there's been some innovations and some accelerations that have come from that. But I think the biggest benefit has been the ability to maybe focus more so than what would be normal in a year 1 or year 2 a new presidency, where, you're really kind of, you're out and you're meeting people and you're having those, consequential conversations and getting to know people. Well, we could be more focused on strategy. And I think we've seen some really good strategies come out of that ability to kind of stop for a minute, really think, look inside, figure out what makes us the best version of us, and then execute on those things.
Well, and I think, too, a testament to the people that you have in your cabinet and people we have on campus, I think we have dealt with the COVID situation about as well as any campus has anywhere. The incident rate on campuses remained very low, and really it's remained a safe campus for people to come to.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for me, when I talk to parents, that's the first thing that parents want to talk about is this a safe and healthy place for my son or daughter, for my loved one to be. And so we got to get over that hurdle first. But I will say that, kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, making sure we've got the support services, not just COVID, but to make sure that we're checking in on each other, that we're being, Colonel's care. We talked about, that last year a lot, that Colonel's care. And so, one thing that, kind of talking about Colonel's care, I'll give a little tidbit to this group here. We're hosting the Nicholls State men's basketball team. The Colonels from down in Louisiana have been displaced due to Ida. And so obviously our athletic director, Matt Roan, came back to us from Nicholls. So we're hosting them here on campus for a week or so as they're trying to kind of get relocated back to Ida. And so when we talk about Colonel's care, we even care about other colonels from other places. And so glad to host them here on campus for a couple of weeks and make sure they've got a safe place to be as they're trying to kind of rebuild their lives and what's going to be the future for them as they were really heavily impacted by Hurricane Ida.
Well, I think I can speak for most of our alums, Dr. McFaddin. It's been a crazy time in our country for the last year and a half, but I don't think any of us have been more proud to be colonels than we have in the past year and a half, because we have met the challenges and met them head on, and your team has done a great job in leading us through that, and we're looking forward to the next year and a half being much more like normal and much easier, and hoping that you finally get a normal year to be president, and let's see what we can do.
Well, it's exciting, Dan. You showed some great events that we've got coming, that are upcoming. I hope that our alums will come out and come to those events. I'd love to be able to connect with folks at those places that we're going to have some chances to, this weekend in Louisville, excited to go down there and we're hopeful to have a great tailgate. Maybe steal one from an ACC team. And, my good friend Neely Bendapudi, the president at U of L, I told her, I said, I'll come down and, we're going to be very hospitable, but, I'm not joking when I say we want to win. So we're committed to having a great year, excited about what's coming up. When we look at the day at the races, homecoming, there's a lot of good stuff going on. We would encourage folks to come on out, and make sure that they connect with us. Talking about connecting, if they want to keep up with what's going on campus, you can follow me on Twitter at EKU President, or you can check us out. I get on Facebook every now and then and update this, that, or the other, but Twitter is probably the best place to kind of follow. I know there's lots of channels for alumni, but it's great to be able to connect with folks. My door is always open. If you're on campus, come by and see me. And by all means, for all of our alums out there, if you know somebody who's looking for a place to go to college, don't hesitate to recommend EKU.
Amen. That's a great spot for us to wrap things up. Dr. McFaddin, again, thank you very much for helping us kick off another season of the Alumni Spotlight series. Hopefully, we'll have another great year this year, and we look forward to having you back next year and kicking off another exciting year of EKU Alumni Spotlight. So thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Dr. David McFaddin, the 14th president of Eastern Kentucky University, helping us start season 2 of the EKU Alumni Spotlight series. He mentioned some of those events. I'll give you a quick recap of some of the events that are coming up. We're doing now both in-person and virtual events. Last year, everything was virtual, but we're back to doing a hybrid where we have some in-person and some virtual. And our next event is this weekend. We'll be at University of Louisville for football. We'll have a tailgate party before the game. If you are interested, all the information is on the alumni website. Just visit alumni.eku.edu, and you'll see the information about the upcoming tailgate this weekend at the University of Louisville. Keeneland, October 13th. We will be back at Keeneland for a day at the races. You need to make your reservations now, and you can do that also on the alumni website, alumni.eku.edu. visit that, get your tickets. We have a limited number of tickets this year, so not everybody's going to get to go. We hope you will join us. That's on October 13th. Homecoming is October 1st and 2nd. Try to make it back to campus if you can. If not, we understand. We will be doing some virtual programming around homecoming again this year and trying to give you an opportunity to see what's happening on the Campus Beautiful from wherever you may be. Virtual events, our next virtual event will come up on Thursday, September 28th. It will be our kickoff of the Colonel's Kitchen Season 2, and we will be cooking down at the Burrier Cafe Burrier. So we hope you will join us for that. That's Thursday, September 28th at 8 p.m. And then our next Alumni Spotlight comes up in October. Dexter Santos, who is Vice President of the NFL Players Association, will be our guest to talk about what he does with the NFL Players Association and about his career. And he's done a lot of different things in his career. We will talk with Dexter coming up in October. Until then, that will wrap things up for us tonight. Our thanks to Alex Hanovan and Steve Greenwell, who produced the show and are doing the work behind the scenes. Until later this month in the kitchen, that will do it. I'm Dan McBride saying, go Big E.